With me now is Ezra Doramachi, a Turkey specialist with the BBC World Service. Ezra, welcome to World News Today.
Thank you.
It seems complicated, but give us more of the context behind the fact that these two men, once allies, are firmly opponents now.
Right, we've got to go back about a decade or so and see why the AKP is so important and why Erdogan is really upset about this. And it's because the AKP is an Islamically based movement. They call themselves conservative, and the Gulen movement has been very important in giving them support. So in the last 3 national elections, the share of the AKP vote has grown, and we saw that in the local elections last month as well. So without the Gulen support, it was a real test for the AKP government to see whether they would keep that power or not keep that power. What we've seen happen since last year is a real rift between the two camps. And the reason that that's begun is because of graft investigations against the Erdogan government, ministers, and also involving Erdogan and his son himself. Now, these have all been alleged.
Now, these allegations of corruption have really stung, haven't they? And they led at one point to the taking down of Twitter in Turkey.
That's right. So there are 2 very important things to keep in mind here. First of all of the secret wiretapping, which has been apparently going on for years and now been released. The timing is very interesting. This all started to come around before those elections that happened last month. The second thing here is that they were all being released on social media platforms, so on YouTube and on Twitter. And again, about 1 to 2 weeks before the elections, you saw Twitter being taken down and YouTube being taken down. So while Twitter has been reinstated, YouTube was unblocked, but then it was blocked again the very next evening. Now, the reason why this has been done is because all of the allegations have been there and they've been taken as a personal affront by the Prime Minister himself.
And the Prime Minister sees Mr. Gulen as being behind this, and hence this extradition request. And yet, Gulen has been in the States, I think, is it 14 years now? Trying to bring him back after all that time.
Yes, he's been in self-imposed exile, and we've got 2 very interesting comments coming from the US. The first is from the State Department a couple of months ago, where a State Department spokesperson said that Gulen is not even an issue. They deal on state relations with Turkey, and so he doesn't factor into that equation. But then about 2 weeks ago, you see the US ambassador in Turkey saying if there is a criminal investigation brought against Gulen and charges are brought against him, then the US would cooperate in extraditing Gulen back to Turkey.
And you now see the Turkish government, Mr. Erdogan, saying, well, you know, Washington, Turkey, key allies, and we would expect Washington to do the right thing, the pressure being stepped up.
Right, this is an interesting rhetoric, or you might even want to call it strategy, where you're saying, yes, we are allies, and yes, you will cooperate with us. But again, this is something that falls under the judiciary and rule of law, and I don't think that you will see just arbitrary requests like this being taken to without some kind of evidence and backing behind it.
Well, we'll keep watching this. But Ezra, thanks very much for giving us that context. And